Hello, welcome back to LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to talk about an add-on called Command Recorder. So this add-on, you can download it from GitHub. So basically, this record series of actions that you are doing in the 3D view, and then you can save the actions as something that you can replay. So it's a quite interesting add-on. There's all kind of different hiccups that you will find out, but it has a lot of potential. So let's try something. So I have this, for example, and let me actually model this a little bit. So I'm gonna extrude and tap 2, extrude and tap 2, and then extrude here and tap 2. So that's like a series of actions that you can record and replay. It's kind of like a macro, but it's more interesting. So let's create one. This one I will try to record. Just turn on the record button, and anything that I'll do here will be recorded. So I'm gonna try duplicating this up, and I will rotate it RZ 90 degree and scale a little bit. Okay, and I will stop the recording. So you can see here, that's all the series of actions that this add-on just recorded for us. So let's delete this, start from the original. Let's hit play. You see it's doing the same actions, and we can play multiple times until it gets really small. So it's that's one example. If you wonder if I can move this and then apply a transform and then play back, so in this case it does actually work, but sometimes it depends on it's being recorded. Sometimes it's not always working. So let's try on the monkey head, for example. Put it there, hit play. Right, so it's always looking at the pivot at the center of the world, which is interesting. Anyway, so another example is for example, this. If I go to edit mode, so this recorder, command recorder, also can record in edit mode. So it can be like a modeling tool. I have something here, extrude funny. Right, you see how interesting and fast this can be. Oh, okay, there's a gotcha there. Even though it's extruding in the normal directions, but if it's too small, then it's gonna screw up. I mean, if the value is not matching. So let's try it. You say you have something like this, and then you apply the modifier, go to edit mode, extrude funny. So that's, the value is too small. If I increase this, apply transform, this one is kind of working, but the value again a little bit too small, unfortunately. So that's, you have to kind of live with that, or you can actually tweak it on the fly if you like. There's a potential here, definitely. From this button, I can move it up there. So button back to recorder, and under recorder you can see this is the series of commands that I ran. BPY, ops, mesh, inset, thickness, depth, and I can still tweak this actually. So if I actually extrude it, if I make the thickness 0.05, but I extrude it a little bit more, so what's gonna happen here? Play. So it's gonna extrude it a little bit higher. Let's try more. Right, so yeah, let's actually try to recreate this extrude funny. I wonder if something like SVerchok can be used together with this, for example. So let's actually expand this, turn on SVerchok nodes. Say we start with a plane and we want to insert. So this node is quite powerful and I like to use it multiple times. And I will create vmesh or just viewer. So let's try this. Save it as extrude funny. I can connect this together and output it. So select, hit V, so we have this extrusion, and we can start to play with the value. You might notice that it's doing this extrusion again and again on all the faces. We don't want that, so we need to connect. We need to turn on in and also plug the mask. Okay, so that's kind of what I want. Okay, the funny thing, the thickness cannot go under 0, but we can always use a number and kind of force it. There we go. We can then center it, right? So this is of course something that you can simply adapt into something like a box, for example. So if this is like the recipient, and if we supply this as the donor, we can connect this. You can see the result right away, and you can still control the things like subdivision. Connect this. Oops. Okay. Smooth it. Fractal. So yeah, this is the cool thing that you can do with SVerchok, of course, and you can bake it. Okay, in this case, not merge. But you know the drill. You can always bake this. So what I'm trying to propose here is a way that instead of using adaptive things like this, we can try. What if we can turn this node into the comments that we can reuse on the fly on the 3D view? So instead of working on the nodes all the way, so we have this kind of like a plan. So now I want to recreate this manually first. Let's put this on the center and move this to the side. So here I want to extrude this a little bit funny. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new commands, and I will record this, but manually adding it from here. So let's try. Actually, I will just turn this on. Go to edit mode, turn this on, and then run a series of inset. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. and then stop. Now we have this operations that we can tweak and follow this. So let's actually do that. So thickness and depth. .3 depth. 1.44. Here I'm doing this manually, but maybe at some point we can actually automate this process with Python. This one I will try minus 1.14. Sorry, we are using negative value. Okay, I think we are done. So we can rename this. Let's do 1, 2. So let's try a cube. Hopefully this works. Go to edit mode, select face, playback, the recording. Okay, so it seems to be working, although the value is quite big. So that's the thing that I would like to be automated. Control A, apply transform. The idea here is, of course, to be able to do this with the user manual control on the 3D view. So that's the interface that a lot of add-on like SVerchok, Sorcar, maybe even animation nodes doesn't have. So you can't be in the 3D view. You cannot hide this and then you expect something to happen. You almost always need to work in the node view. In this, but if we are doing it this way, you might actually be able to do it. So it's kind of like what I like to have. It's almost like a BoxCutter in a way. BoxCutter is another add-on, and it's quite powerful. It gives you control over Boolean Modifier, but on the 3D view. You don't need to think about Boolean anymore. You just work in the 3D view. If we can do that with nodes, it will be very powerful. But I think something like command recorder can be some kind of bridge. Even though this add-on has its own quirk and complexity, but it has a very powerful workflow. So this command can be modified, and you can, I believe you can reorder, and you can actually add your own. I don't know. This thing standard. Maybe I can add this manually. Yeah, but I'm not gonna do that for now. What's really cool here, also you can add a shortcut to this play button. So let's try add this as a quick favorite. So now I can just access it from here if I tap Q. Let's actually try that. So from something like that, subdivide it, go to edit mode, Q. Oh, we don't have it yet. Okay, right click, add a quick favorite. Now we have it here. Let's remove this for now. Just the play, okay? Okay. Apparently it's too big. That's because our component is that small. We need to adapt to that thing. Command L, hit apply. Command I, all transform. So this one should be right. So select components, hit tab Q, play. So you got the idea. Look, I can even select random selection. I can have random selections, and this one will work. I can do it twice if I like. So suddenly it's a modeling tool. And of course, command recorder is doing this. And if you're using Python, that's also possible. You can make a tool that simply allows you to do this. It's not something that you have to use SVerchok or you have to use this. It's not, because it's really just a tool. Just one way to do things differently. Another tools for you. So this is cool. And we are, yeah, I think we are pretty much done, but it's just a concept. And so I wonder if we can, in the end, I wonder if we can turn SVerchok into a series of commands that can be replayed over and over again. This one, of course, if you use a BPY, maybe it will work as well, depending on the context. The thing about Blender, context actually matters. So you can have that. Import BPY. So we have playback button here, right click, add to quick favorites. What if we hit Q and O? So this button is in the quick favorite, but option P. The option P doesn't work somehow. It works here. So for example like this, we can actually do that, but we have to be in the right context. Right, so this is interesting. So I didn't realize this. We can do this. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, in a way similar to this, but this one have button that makes it makes things a lot easier. So yeah, anyway, it's interesting ideas, I suppose. Maybe I should show you one more thing. So there is tissue add-on, but there's also this BoxCutter. Like I said, BoxCutter add-on allows you to work in a 3D view. You don't think too much about Boolean history that is keep growing. This kind of control is something that I like to have with SVerchok. SVerchok, as it is already quite powerful. You can create a component like that, right? But we can actually put these components into the cutter of BoxCutter. So if we have an object here and we want to use, let's say we want to cut using this custom shapes, we can simply grab our cutter. So yeah, this actually works. Interestingly, it's not, I mean, it's not always, because it's a Boolean, right? It's a kind of like a dirty cut, but it actually works. And if we are doing it, we can use join and try to Boolean on this object. This actually works, and you can apply modifier there, and you can use remesh, voxel remesh. and you get that. Reduce the details. Okay, cannot. Not too much, I guess. But you can print it out anyway. It's up to a certain point. Boolean works. Yeah, so there's a long talk from command recorders into SVerchok add-on and then into BoxCutter. They are all kind of related in a way. In my thinking, it's like something that you can kind of put together to work as a modeling tool. It's very unusual, but why not? There's always ways to do things differently. Look, voxel remesh actually work with BoxCutter and SVerchok up to a certain point. Of course, it's a Boolean, so sometimes it doesn't work. The cool thing, of course, with this, you can still control this extrusion. That's really the whole point of procedural way of creations. Not always easy or obvious. Okay, this one should allow us to go into negative value, so we can have interesting result here. Okay, so we change the thing and then it's also changed over here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We didn't have any more time, but thanks again for tuning in. Hopefully this is useful. Let me know if you have more ideas, and I'll try to make this even better. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.